Shabbat Shalom. Well, after some computer issues, I'm up and running and want to get started on this week's Torah portion because I have a busy night ahead of me because I'm also going to start recording Proverbs. I do the Proverbs of the day every day, so I'm just going to start with the 13th and go from there, and then next month I'll do the 1st through the 12th, and that way you can just go back every month and read all and listen to and read all of the Proverbs of the day. There's a lot of wisdom in that chapters. Anyway, this week we are doing Shlach, which means send. We're going to be reading from Numbers chapter 13, verse 1, going through 15, the end of the chapter. That's going to be on page 154. Then we'll go to Joshua chapter 2. Then we'll move on to Hebrews chapter 3, verses 7 through 17. So let's go ahead and get started and enjoy the word together. Numbers 13, chapter 1, or verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. Send one man from each tribe of their fathers, every one a leader among them. And by the mouth of Yahweh, Moshe sent them from the wilderness of Paran, all of them men who were heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: from the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, son of Zakur; from the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori; from the tribe of Yehuda, Caleb, son of Jehunah; from the tribe of Issachar, Yigal, son of Joseph; from the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun; from the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, son of Raphu; from the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Sodi; from the tribe of Joseph; from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai, son of Susi; from the tribe of Dan, Amiel, son of Gamli; from the tribe of Asher, Sethur, son of Mikael; from the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi, son of Rosi; from the tribe of Gad, Guel, son of Maki. These are the names of the men whom Moshe sent out to spy the land. And Moshe called Hosea, the son of Nun, Yehoshua. And Moshe sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, Go up here into the south, and go up to the mountains, and see what the land is like, and the people who dwell in it, whether strong or weak, whether few or many, or whether the land they dwell in is good or evil, whether their cities are inhabited or in camps or stronghold, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are forests there or not. And you shall be strong and bring some of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the season for the first fruit of grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob, near the entrance of Hamath. And they went up through the south and came to Hebron. And Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmi, the descendants of Anik, were there. Now Hebron had been built 7 years before Zoan, in Mitzrayim. And they came to the Wadi Eshkol and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bore it between two of them on a pole. Also of the pomegranates and of the figs. That place was called the Wadi Eshkol because of the cluster which the men of Israel cut down from there. And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moshe and Aharon and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. And they brought back word to them, to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they reported to him and said, "We went to the land where you sent us, and truly it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit. But the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are walled, very great. And we saw the descendants of Anak there too. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, while the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell in the sea and along the banks of the Jordan." And Caleb silenced the people before Moshe and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession, for we are certainly able to overcome it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we." And they gave the children of Israel an evil report of the land which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we have gone as spies in the land, eating up its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size. And we saw there the Nephilim, sons of Anak of the Nephilim, and we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we were in their eyes." Yeah, I don't always comment. I'm going to comment on this one. The story that they gave was just that. It was all made up. The land eating its inhabitants and all the people that we saw. If all the people were giants, then what were the other people that they talked about? The Amalekites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Canaanites. They weren't all giants. And, it was a lie spoken out of fear and nothing but that. We have a habit of doing that ourselves. We get a story in our head and all we see is that story. And it's hard to get past that sometimes. But we've got to remember that Yah always puts good in front of us. And when he sends us somewhere, we've got to face our fears and we've got to go and we've got to do it no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead in chapter 14. Then all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aharon, and all the congregation said to them, "If only we had died in the land of Mitzrayim, or if only we had died in this wilderness. And why is Yahweh bringing us to this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should become a prey? Would it not be better for us to turn back to Mitzrayim?" And they said to each other, "Let us appoint a leader, and let us turn back to Mitzrayim." Then Moshe and Aharon fell on their faces before the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephthah, who were among those who spied out the land, tore their garments. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, "The land we passed through to spy out is an exceedingly good land. If Yahweh has delighted in us, then he shall bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which is flowing with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against Yah, nor fear the people of the land, for they are our bread. Their defense has turned away from them, and Yahweh is with us. Do not fear them. But all the congregation said to stone them with stones. Then the esteem of Yahweh appeared in the door of appointment, in the tent of appointment before the children of Israel. And Yahweh said to Moshe, how long shall I be scorned by these people, and how long shall I not be trusted by them with all the signs which I have done in their midst? Let me strike them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and make of you a great nation, greater and mightier than they. And Moshe said to Yahweh, then the Mitzrites shall hear it, for by your power you brought these people up from their midst, and they shall say to the inhabitants of this land, they have heard that you, Yahweh, are in the midst of these people, and that you, Yahweh, are seen eye to eye, and that your cloud stands above them, and you go before them in a column of cloud by day and a column of fire by night. Now, if you shall kill these people as one man, then the nations which have heard of your report shall speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring his people to the land which he swore to give them, therefore he slew them in the wilderness. And now I pray, let the power of Yahweh be great, as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is patient and of great loving commitment, forgiving crookednesses and transgressions, but by no means leaving unpunished, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation. Please forgive the crookedness of this people according to the greatness of your loving commitment, as you have forgiven this people from Mitzrayim even until now. And Yahweh said, I shall forgive according to your word. But truly, as I live, and all the earth is filled with the esteem of Yahweh, for none of these men who have seen my esteem and the signs which I did in Mitzrayim and in the wilderness, and have tried me now these 10 times, and have disobeyed my voice, they shall not see the land of which I swore to their fathers, nor any of those who scorned me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit in him and has followed me completely, I shall bring into the land where he went, and his seed shall inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are dwelling in the valley, turn back tomorrow and set out into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, how long shall this evil congregation have this grumbling against me? I have heard the grumbling which the children of Israel are grumbling against me. Say to them, as I live, declares Yahweh, as you have spoken in my hearing, so I do to you. The carcasses of you who have grumbled against me are going to fall in this wilderness, all of you who are registered, according to your entire number, from 20 years old and above. None of you, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Yehoshua, son of Nun, shall enter the land which I swore I would make you dwell in. But your little ones, whom you said would become a prey, I shall bring in, and they shall know the land which you have rejected. But as for you, your carcasses are going to fall in the wilderness, and your sons shall be wanderers in the wilderness 40 years, and shall bear your whoring until your carcasses are consumed in the wilderness. And your sons, according to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, a day for a year, a day for a year. You are to bear your crookednesses 40 years, and you shall know my breaking off. I am Yahweh. I have spoken. I shall do this to all this evil congregation who are meeting against me. In this wilderness, they are consumed, and there they die. And the men whom Moshe sent to spy out the land, who returned to make all the congregation grumble against him by bringing an evil report to the land, even those men who brought the evil report about the land died by a plague before Yahweh. Of those men who went to spy out the land, only Yehoshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, remained alive. And when Moshe spoke these words to all the children of Israel, the people mourned greatly. And they rose up early in the morning and went up to the top of the mountain, saying, See, we have indeed sinned, but we shall go up to the place which Yahweh had spoken of. But Moshe said, Why do you now transgress the mouth of Yahweh, since it does not prosper? Do not go up, lest you be smitten by your enemies, for Yahweh is not in your midst. Because the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall fall by the sword. Because you have turned away from Yahweh, Yahweh is not with you. But they presumed to go up to the mountaintop, but neither the ark of the covenant, nor Yahweh, nor Moshe left the camp. So the Amalekites and the Canaanites who dwell in the mountain came down and struck them and beat them down, even to Hormah. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you have come into the land of your dwelling, which I am giving you, and you make an offering by fire to Yahweh, an ascending offering or a slaughtering, to accomplish a vow, or as a voluntary offering, or in your appointed times, to make a sweet fragrance to Yahweh from the herd or the flock, then he who brings near his offering to Yahweh shall bring near a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering you prepare with the ascending offering or the slaughtering for each lamb. Or for a ram you prepare as a grain offering 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/3 of a hin of oil. And as a drink offering you bring 1/3 of a hin of wine as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And when you prepare a young bull as an ascending offering or as a slaughtering to accomplish a vow, or as a peace offering to Yahweh, then shall be brought with the young bull a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/2 a hin of oil. And bring as the drink offering 1/2 a hin of wine as an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. This is what is done for each young bull, for each ram, or for each lamb or young goat, according to the number that you prepare. So you do for each one according to their number. Let all who are native do so with them, in bringing near an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And when a sojourner sojourns with you, or whoever is among you throughout your generations, and would make an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh, as you do, so he does. One law is for you of the assembly, and for the sojourner who sojourns with you, a law forever throughout your generations. As you are, so is the sojourner before Yahweh. One Torah and one right ruling is for you and for the sojourner who sojourns with you. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land to which I bring you, then it shall be, when you eat of the bread of the land, that you present a contribution to Yahweh. Present a cake of the first of your dough as a contribution. As a contribution of the threshing floor, you present it. Of the first of your dough, you are to give to Yahweh a contribution throughout your generations. And when you sin by mistake and do not do all these commands which Yahweh has spoken to Moshe, all that Yahweh has commanded you by the hand of Moshe, from the day Yahweh gave command and onward throughout your generations, then it shall be, if it is done by mistake without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall prepare one young bull as an ascending offering, as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh, with its grain offering and its drink offering, according to the right ruling, and one male goat as a sin offering. Then the priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it was by mistake. And they shall bring their offering, an offering made by fire to Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their mistake. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the sojourner who sojourns in their midst, because all the people did it by mistake. And if a being sins by mistake, then he shall bring a female goat, a year old, as a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for the being who strays by mistake, when he sins by mistake before Yahweh, to make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. For him who does whatever by mistake, there is one Torah, both for him who is native among the children of Israel, and for the sojourner who sojourns in their midst. But the being who does whatever defiantly, whether he is native or a sojourner, he reviles Yahweh, and that being shall be cut off from among his people. Because he has despised the word of Yahweh and has broken his command, that being shall certainly be cut off. His crookedness is upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. And those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moshe and to Aharon and to all the congregation. And they put him in under guard, because it had not been declared what should be done to him. And Yahweh said to Moshe, the man shall certainly be put to death, all the congregation stoning him with stones outside the camp. And all the congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him with stones, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe, and he died. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them to make tzitzit on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue cord in the tzitzit of the corner. And it shall be to you for a tzitzit, and you shall see it, and shall remember all the commands of Yahweh, and shall do them, and not search after your own hearts and your own eyes, after which you went whoring, so that you remember and shall do all the commands and be set apart unto your Elohim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Now, we are going to be turning to Joshua chapter 2, and that is going to be on page 225. And while you're turning there, I have to go attend to the dog because he has lost his ball under the bookshelf, and I'm afraid he's going to tip the bookshelf over. I'll be right back. Go sit. Sit. Don't do it again. I'm back. Hopefully, you are on page 225, Joshua chapter 2, and we're going to read all of chapter 2. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, secretly sent out two men of from Shittim to spy, saying, "Go, see the land and Jericho." And they went and came to the house of a woman, a whore, and her name was Rahab, and they lay down there. But it was reported to the sovereign of Jericho, saying, "See, men from the children of Israel have come here tonight to search out the land." And the sovereign of Jericho went to Rahab, saying, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land." But the woman had taken the two men and hid them. So she said, "The men came to me, but I did not know where they were from." Then it came to be, as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly so that you overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them in the stalks of flax, which she had laid out on the roof. And the men pursued them by the way of the Jordan to the fords, and they shut the gate afterwards as soon as the pursuers had gone out. And before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof, and she said to the men, "I know that Yahweh has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Sea of Reeds for you when you came out of Mitzrayim, and what you did to the two sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you put under the ban. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in anyone because of you. For Yahweh, your Elohim, He is Elohim in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. And now, please swear to me by Yahweh, since I have shown you loving commitment, that you also show loving commitment to my father's house, and shall give me a true token, and shall spare my father and my mother, my brothers and my sisters, and all that they have, and shall deliver our lives from death." And the men said to her, "Our lives for yours. If you do not expose this matter of ours, then it shall be, when Yahweh has given us this land, that we shall treat you in loving commitment and truth." So she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the city wall, and she dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, "Go to the mountain, lest the pursuers come upon you, and you shall hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned, and afterwards go on your way." And the men said to her, "We are released from this oath of yours, which you have made us swear, unless, when we come into the land, you bind this cord, a scarlet cord, in the window through which you let us down. And unless you bring your father and your mother and your brothers and all your father's household into your own home. And it shall be that anyone who goes outside the door of your house into the streets, his blood is on his own head, and we are innocent. And anyone who is with you in the house, his blood is on our head if a hand is laid on him. And if you expose this matter of ours, then we shall be released from your oath, which you made us swear." And she said, "Let it be according to your words." And she sent them away, and they went. And she bound the scarlet cord in the window. So they left and came to the mountain and stayed there 3 days, until the pursuers returned. And the pursuers sought them in all the way, but did not find them. Then the two men returned and came down from the mountain and passed over. And they came to Yehoshua, son of Nun, and related to him all that had befallen them. And they said to Yehoshua, "Truly Yahweh has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land have melted away because of us. Now we're going to turn to Hebrews chapter 3, and that is going to be here it is. It's going to be on page Hebrews chapter 3. I usually have these marked. I put it on the wrong page. Hebrews chapter 3. We're going to start on verse 7. It's on page 1168. We're going to read chapter 3, verses 7 through 17. And then we'll jump down to chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. Therefore, as the set-apart Spirit says, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, as in the rebellion in the days of trial in the wilderness, where your fathers tried me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Therefore I was grieved with that generation and said, they always go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. As I swore in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest. Look out, brothers, lest there be in any of you a wicked heart of unbelief in falling away from the living Elohim. But encourage one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened by the deceivableness of sin. For we have become partakers of Messiah, if we hold fast the beginning of our trust firm to the end. While it is said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, as in the rebellion. For who, having heard, rebelled? Was it not all who came out of Mitzrayim, led by Moshe? And with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose corpses fell in the wilderness? Now, chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. So there remains a Sabbath keeping for the people of Elohim. For the one, having entered into his rest, has himself also rested from his works, as Elohim rested from his own. And that is the Torah portion for this week. I pray you all have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.